I am Deborah Dixon. I am filing this complaint against General Motors on behalf of Able Auto Adjusters through whomever they contracted to repo my car. I was robbed, I was ripped off, and my car was completely cleaned out from all my valuables and my handicap placard and everything. And they need to be held accountable for their actions. December 23rd, my car was repoed by General Motors Financials. I called, they told me I had missed a payment in March and in August. And that's why they repoed my car. But I've been paying I filed for bankruptcy last year, and they never told me I was behind on a payment, and I don't recall missing any payments. December 23rd, my car was repoed from my job. I had plans to go to my family's house for the rest of the week, and I had to sign a lease that evening. And I had just refilled all my medication from the naval base. All that stuff was inside my car. When they repoed my car, I called Able Auto Adjusters to say, hey, can I come and get my medication out of my car? The lady told me, no, I could not. So I asked for her supervisor. She told me she was the supervisor. I said, I just need to get my medication because I need my medication. It has to be taken daily, twice a day. She told me I couldn't get anything out of the car until she said so. And I was just livid. So I said, okay, thank you. I called GM back. They said, once you make the payments and send us this information, we'll give you that, where the car is. I did all of that. I called the number that the lady gave me. She made a mistake, gave me a number to Chicago, wrong VIN number and all that information. Had the same card that was repoed. The same card was repoed with the information that I gave the lady that she gave me from GM. So a couple of hours later, I'm trying to get my medication out the car. GM is closed. They don't open back to that following Monday. The Able Auto Adjusters is not located here in San Diego. They're located up towards LA. So she contracted out her job to some other local towing company that it's not really a company. The guy name was James. I went and got my repo receipt, took it over to James. I had to sign all the paperwork before I could even get to my car. So I don't know what was in my car, what was taken out of my car at that point, because I had to sign the paper before he would let me in the car, before he would pull it out of the lot. I took my car home, went back to work. And that evening it was raining, so I never checked the valuables in my car until the next day because it was raining that night when I got the car back. I got in my car to go to work the next day. I had no car keys, no house keys to the place that I was moving from. The garage door opener was gone. My handicap placard was missing. And my medication was missing. And so was the rent money that I was signing my lease with that night. All that stuff, all my Christmas stocking stuffers that were in the car, all that stuff was gone. He never touched anything in the back of the trunk, just everything that was inside of the car. He even dumped my ashtray. Okay. So after that, I called and I said, hey, I need my keys. I need my handicap placard. My medication's missing. Everything's missing from my car. And I told him, I said, I was supposed to get an oil change on that December 26th. I was 50 miles off from getting my oil change in my car. I have now over 300 miles on my car that obviously they have been driving my car. I had no gas in my car when I got it back. The brakes are damaged. I need to get new brakes on my car. They totally rode my car around. He robbed me from everything. I have to go back to the DMV to get a handicap placard because now I have to pay to go to work. GM Financial regulated, they hired these contractors from Able Auto Adjusters, and Able Auto Adjusters referred it to someone else. And that one someone else, I only know his name is James. Able Auto Adjusters, I don't know anybody in that office because nobody would give me their name. They kept putting me on hold. I was on hold for hours and hours at a time. They were rude, disrespectful. And the James guy that had my car, he's a thief. He stole everything out of that car. Even when after I filed this report with you guys. I went to Able Auto Adjusters and I looked at some reviews. There was nothing but bad things about how Able Auto Adjusters steal things out of your car. Now, if that's what's going on, why is GM still contracting with this company, Auto Adjusters, when they're hiring other people with no real potentials? They have no, they steal out of people's cars, and that's not nice because we work hard for our stuff. Respect those. You should have never been inside the car only to put it in neutral so you could tow it. Other than that, you should have never dumped my ashtray. You should have never taken my handicap placard off that window. You should have never taken my house keys, the visor where my garage door opener. You even went in that and took it. So there's no reason for, you should have just put the car in neutral, and it should never been driven. It should have never been cleaned out because I told you I was coming to get my car. I told you I wanted to get my medication first until we opened up that Monday to get my car back. They wouldn't allow me to take anything out of the car. I didn't even know where the car was because they wouldn't tell me where my car was. It was just around the place where I was moving from. That's where my car was the whole time. I could have easily gotten my medication. Now I'm sitting here sick, hurt, and everything else, and violated because Able Auto Adjusters, General Motors, had a bad contract company, and they need to be responsible for what they did to me and all the other people that they ripped off. Only thing that I know is I had to pay for those 2 months that they said I missed, and that's why I got my car back. I mean, I don't recall. I call General Motors GM every month because I'm locked out of my account. So obviously, there's accounts that are crossed because we have the same plate number. Obviously, from this person in Chicago versus me, we have the same car. Both have Elantras, Hyundai Elantras 2018. Both those cars were repoed the same day. The same day. And that is a coincidence. That's just really, really weird to me that that could happen and not give me a heads up. I'm paying my bill every month. So if I miss 2 months, someone should have told me that when I'm calling in every month trying to get into my account and changing my password. I really feel that General Motors should take responsibility because they hired Able Auto Adjusters to repo my car. Able Auto Adjusters also turned around and contracted somebody else for a lesser fee so that they could repo the car because they were not down here in San Diego. I It's not even the principle of the stocking stuffers gifts that I had for my nephew and my niece, and it's not even a point of that. It's the point that when you contract somebody to do a job, you want honest professionals. You don't want thieves there. You've taken so much from me. I had to borrow money to move into my new place because they took my money. They took my medication. I can't get a refill on my medication until the 18th of this month. I'm sick. I need my medication and I'm not doing well at all. I'm missing work because I'm sick. I can't go to work like this because I work for the public and they will not let me come to work being sick. GM is the head of that corp, their whole way this comes down the ladder. GM contracted Able Adjusters. Able Adjusters contracted somebody else. And when I was talking to the lady at Able Adjusters, she was so rude. She kept telling me, we have pictures of your medication in your car. We have pictures of this stuff. I'm like, how can you show me those pictures? Send them to me. I said, you can send me a screenshot to my phone because you're not in San Diego. You're in close to LA. So how do you have pictures of what's in my car? And why doesn't this tow truck guy have any pictures of what's in my car? You know, that guy sit and told me, and she told me, well, maybe he just made a mistake. He just made a mistake and threw some stuff away. I said, okay, if he threw it away, why was he throwing stuff away in my car? You had no right. I've had my car repo before, and they've never touched anything inside my car. Never. Everything was always the way I got it back the next couple of days. It was always the same. This is the first time that I've ever dealt with something that had no logo on your truck. It just looked like you got your truck from a junkyard and put a tow hitch on the back of it. And that's how you got your license to be a contract repo driver. And that's not fair because assume I assumed when the lady told me that some white truck took my car, I'm thinking somebody stole my car. That's why I called the police and filed a police report. I filed the police report. I called Lemon Grove Sheriff's Department. None of those people have called me back regarding this information, not even my police report. Nobody's, I mean, I've sent the emails, I've called them, and nobody's responded to any of them. Just like it's something like I'm just trying to make up something. I lost a lot. I lost a lot. My car was taken and everything inside it was taken. I am suffering from an illness now because I can't take my medication and I can't get a refill for another 10 days. And that's not fair to me, because that's not what you do, is steal stuff out of people's cars. You just don't do that. And I think General Motors should be responsible for that also, because you contracted these people. And if you don't trust them, if you don't read their reviews, then you're just as bad as they are. Because we're honest people too. I just want people to be compensated for their wrongdoing, because I worked hard. I work hard. I am struggling. I work hard for what I have. And the things that I have are valuable to me, may not be to someone else, but it's valuable to me. And I don't need to be feeling that I'm afraid to leave my car anywhere now. And that's really sad, because this guy has another key to my car because he obviously drove it. So they have that security key, that valet key. They have it. And it's not fair that I should feel uncomfortable. I had to change the whole garage door opener in the house where I moved from because people still live there. I just moved out of there. But those people, I had to change those locks over there for those people so that that person would not come into their house while while they're thinking somebody's not there. I had to change all of that stuff. And that's an older person that lives there. It's not fair. I had to pay 14, almost $1,500 to get my car back. Also, the money that was stolen out my car. So I'm roughly looking at almost about $3,000 there that I've lost due to all this, this repo. I've lost a lot of money, and GM should be responsible for replenishing all my gifts, my medication, and the money that I was supposed to sign my lease with. I had to borrow that money from somebody else so that I can move. So GM should be responsible for all that. So GM should be able to compensate me from all of that they stole from my car. If you want to put a dollar value on it, I don't know what I can say about that, because I only know my medication is the most valuable thing, and I can get that replaced soon. So I'm not worried about that. The money that I had to move into, I had to borrow to move in, that money should be replaced back to me because that was taken out of my car. Anything else, as far as the Christmas stocking stuffers, I might have spent maybe $200, maybe 150, you know, but that's not the important part because that's all material. You know, my money that I have to pay back to move when they took that out of my car is the most important thing for me, because you're putting me in a situation where I can't afford to do what I needed to do. They could replace my money. There's nothing they could do about my medication. That's as far as, and they have better communication skills. You know what I'm saying? I understand when I went through my bankruptcy, but I'm calling you every month and I'm logging into this account because somebody keeps changing my account. There's obviously a mix up. There's obviously a mix up because there's no reason. As soon as they did that and I called them that day, I had to change my account. I had to get everything all over again. So when I changed that account, 2 days later, when I tried to log into that account with GM, I couldn't log in it again. So I have to call them so much to get into my account to pay my bills. That doesn't make any sense. I should not have to do that every month. So GM needs to correct their auto and make sure their account's not compromised. Because I know that in March I made my payment because when I had a deferred payment in February. I deferred a payment in February, so I made my first payment due in March. I would have never missed that. And that was the first time that COVID happened, so everybody was losing their job. Well, we all sent home in March. but I made my payment because I didn't want to be behind. So GM should be responsible for reimbursing me for the items that were taken out of my car because they contracted these other people and these other people contracted someone else. Unless GM is able to make able auto adjusters pay for this, GM is responsible because they contracted these people.